Hey everybody, we're back once again with Paul Craig Roberts. People keep asking to do more interviews with Paul, so here we go. And breaking news today, some kind of a deal apparently between Trump and Putin on a ceasefire in Ukraine. Paul, you've been talking about this quite a bit, whether it's realistic, whether any of that will hold. What's your reading on today's developments?
Uh, Good, because it indicates that Trump has seen the light and understands that Putin cannot agree to a battlefield ceasefire when he doesn't know what the agreement is. What they agreed to, and Putin agreed to a ceasefire, but only a ceasefire on the Ukrainian electric grid. He agreed to stop bombing or sending missiles that disrupts the power supply of the country. He did not agree to a ceasefire on the battlefield. So it showed flexibility for Trump that I didn't expect, um, and which isn't, and you wouldn't have expected from the way Trump had been going on about what damage he was going to do to Russia if Putin didn't agree to the ceasefire. So I guess Putin allowed him to save face by giving him a limited ceasefire. The Russians will stop bombing for 30 days the Ukrainian electric grid. They will not stop the advance on the battlefield.
So, was really that much accomplished in ending the conflict?
Well, it's much more hopeful than I thought earlier today, but or yesterday even, because it showed, first of all, Putin was standing firm. I mean, after all, it's the Russians who have defeated Washington and Ukraine, not vice versa. And he stood firm on the position that he was in the uh, leading role here. And Trump accepted that. And so they can now talk further. We'll see how much flexibility Trump has. I think Putin will do everything he can to save Trump's face as long as this agreement fits what Putin has said are the uh, absolute requirements for an end of the conflict. So I think it's come out better than I thought so far.
You made the point over and over again that it's not just humanitarian concerns to end the war with Trump, although he says that often. You're also saying that to keep this war going, not only drains the budget that could be used elsewhere, but it also puts on the back burner all his domestic agenda, what he wants to accomplish if he has to deal with this war for his second term. So that's his primary concern, get rid of that so he can get on with domestic issues, correct?
Yes, that's true. And I was surprised, was it yesterday or the day before, that he started bombing Yemen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you want peace in Ukraine, how does it help to bomb Yemen? And now he's making more severe threats against Yemen. And how does it help if you keep equipping Israel with weapons to destroy Palestine, and you keep talking about evicting all of the Palestinians from Palestine and turning Gaza into a resort? There are a lot of contradictions in Trump's positions, and I've been worried that this would cause a serious person like Putin to wonder who he's dealing with. What kind of person is this? What does it mean to make an agreement with him? and that this would somehow prolong the war. I don't think the American public understand that the conflict is not between Russia and Ukraine. It never has been. This is Washington's proxy war against Russia. So there are really only two players, Putin and Trump, because Trump is now the president in Washington, and it's up to them. And I think Putin understands that this is a proxy war with the United States, and we have to hope that Trump understands that as well. Ukraine was just a mean, they were just the supplier of the proxies.
And the purpose of that proxy war, which was launched by the neocons that are embedded deeply, deep state, in the various agencies, uh, the purpose was to destabilize Russia and overthrow Putin and get our hands into Russia, correct?
I think that was the ultimate hopes of the neoconservatives. Um, but also, it was just an opportunity. If that failed, it was still an opportunity to blacken Russia's eye on the propaganda level and to create more unity within NATO and more subservience to the United States. Um, all of that part of it is a bit shaky now with Trump giving all these signals that maybe the days of NATO are over and Europe's are just a problem and they don't carry their own way. But on the other hand, Trump says a lot of things, as he does with the tariffs, that are just implied threats in order to make people do something else that he wants.
Right.
And so it's hard to know. So yes, the neocons, you have to remember the United States had great success in breaking up the Soviet Union.
Right.
You know, we stole about half of the territory
Yeah.
from them. You know, all of Central Asia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, that whole area, Ukraine, Belarus. So the neoconservatives have said we can also break up the Russian Federation because the Russian Federation itself is an empire. It's got different people, different religions. You know, it has Muslim elements,
Right.
and so this was the hope that it would strain Russian resources, particularly with the sanctions. You see, the neocons thought the sanctions would be far more powerful than they were. They were powerful on Germany.
Yeah.
And but they taught the Russians independence, and so they thought that this would had a chance of breaking up the Russian Federation, and but it hasn't.
Well, a topic for another time we draw on it more deeply, but in terms of the neocons, with Victoria Nuland ousted now, one of the leaders of that, uh, are they still as powerful, as influential as they had been all these years?
I wouldn't think now with Trump, but with Biden, yes. We never got an explanation of why Victoria Nuland was ousted.
Right.
Never got one. Um, uh, but you see, they dominated the foreign policy community for so long. You know, they first came into office during the Reagan years.
Yeah.
He fired them, and some of them were indicted. He got rid of them. But of course, they got back in with Clinton. They were in total control with the George W. Bush regime. They were essentially in control, certainly of foreign policy in the Middle East with Obama. and Biden. And during Trump's first term, who is his national security advisor? John Bolton, one of the leading neoconservatives. He's the national security advisor.
Right.
So you don't just wipe out all those decades and all those different presidents, Republican and Democrat, of their dominance of foreign policy. They're still well positioned in the media. They're for the most part Zionists. Many of them are Jewish, and there's always support systems for Jewish intellectuals who are serving the right causes. So I wouldn't say they're finished. We'll have to see. They're institutionalized in American foreign policy, in the think tanks, the universities, in the publications like Foreign Affairs.
Yeah.
So they're still around. They worked hard to get in control of policy. You have to give them that. They achieved their goal. And really, if you look at it, you remember General Wesley Clark, our NATO commander, who said on TV that he'd been to the Pentagon and his former subordinates showed him plans and said that the Pentagon was planning on overthrowing 7 countries in 5 years. And he
Right.
named them:
Right.
Libya, Iraq, Syria, Iran. Well, they essentially achieved that. It took longer than 5 years.
I can remember the mainstream media was poo-pooing that, that was the plan, just like they deep sick so many other stories. So, all right, so Paul, we'll get more to this on another time and on to other topics. For now, though, Paul, thanks very much for being with us. Paul Craig Roberts, thanks once again for joining us.